Hey everybody, welcome to another all new, all different X's for Show, where we've got something real special for you guys today. You can check us out at X's for Show on all your soch. I was trying to get soch in there and I was so excited that I so stammered, right? But you can check us out there, or you can check me out at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION.
And I am actually starting my own show about making clothes. It's called X's for Sew, as Nico just mentioned. And so just look forward to that. We'll be designing gowns and sweats, my two favorite things. And if you want to talk about that, that's at TK Elemental.
Can they listen to it on Stitcher?
Why don't they do more clothing promos?
And I will be starting my own show where I review the flubs of these two gentlemen, and it is called X's for Slow. And you can find that at Kev O'Reilly. But in the meantime, we're here and we're having fun tonight.
Oh, and we are having a journey into some of our favorite fandoms, some of our favorite weirdness. You know, one of the things that we talk a lot about is how we've reached an age where, whether it's things like the ongoing nature of AVP as an entire separate, I was trying to say industry/enterprise of Alien and Predator. You know, we also actually have like Wolverine versus Predator, and next up is Wolverine versus Alien. And we've really reached a point where like the next thing I'm expecting is like Silver Spoons versus Blossom, and he's going to drive that train right into Nick's piano. And so like my thought here, and hey, we got TK, we have Tasty Cake. I'm not having a talk day, you guys. We have Tasty Cake, we have Cyborg, we're killing it today. We have an amazing crowd with us, right? So we're going to be talking about kind of like smooshing up some of our favorite things and making a Twister style blender. It's really something out of an improv class. How do you guys feel about this horrible thing I have put upon us?
I think it's fun. I think about stuff like this all the time.
Yeah, same. I'm excited. We're weirdos and we like talking about weird stuff, and we love to share the things that we love in new and interesting ways. And this is one that I'm definitely interested to see what we come up with. It was a lot of fun to, brainstorm together and come up with as a concept. So I'm excited.
You know, and to that end, we have an amazing big question, an amazing opening question. And I am so excited to bring this question because it's, what is your dream fusion crossover? Now, I have two different answers here. Number one, and this is probably a little bit more like the legitimate answer, I would really love to see something done with the Cardcaptor Sakura universe and Disney in some capacity. I just really think that Sakura is a Disney princess in all of the ways that are definable by like trope on Wiki. And I just think that would be really amazing. And the much less realistic dream crossover for me is the 1998 Oscars and the Hunger Games. I think Shakespeare in Love, if it can defend its district and survive, then it really, really deserves it. But if Saving Private Ryan wants that Oscar, I think now's the time to step that pussy game up.
Nico, what if we told you about pitching future broadcasts in the middle of current broadcasts? Because now I'm fascinated by this concept. Why 1998? Specifically 98?
Whatever year Shakespeare in Love gutted the Academy by ripping the Oscar out of Steven Spielberg's incredibly deserving fingers and gave Best Picture to what I at the time thought was the greatest movie I'd ever seen. And then I turned 12. And so
It was your Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, and then we did it all again, where this time we actually gave gays their own nom, which was World War II, by ripping the Oscar out of Brokeback's hands and giving it to Drive. So I'm an Ang.
I get that.
So yeah, Oscars, Hunger Games, get it.
Teak, do you have an answer?
I will go simple and straightforward. I would really like for Buffy to cross over with the Marvel Universe. Disney does technically own what rights are left for Buffy, but for various reasons, Boom Studio is going to continue to produce the Buffy comic, which is actually really fantastic. Buffy is so tough because no matter what, Joss Whedon's going to get money for that in perpetuity. And we never want the evil man to get the money, but we also want more Vampire Slayer stories and just how fun I thought it was bringing in the new vampire realm from Otherworld when X of Swords got started up, which is kind of expanded into a bunch of stuff. I just think it would be so cool to bring Buffy versus vampires into the MCU. To have Buffy and Blade be colleagues would be very funny.
And I would really, I'm a big fan of the Turrican is one of the greatest gifts. And anybody who's following my DC journey knows how deep into this I am. Right? Oh, right. You can't. It's green screened, but you can kind of see it if you look close. Right? Actually, Kevy got me an amazing hat for my birthday, and I put it on, and it green screened away. Anyway, so there's this thing in a DC in the New 52 called Trinity of Sin. And they had never revealed who one of the characters really was meant to be, because they're meant to be famous characters trying to overcome something they'd done. And they revealed that Pandora really is Pandora. They revealed that the Phantom Stranger ultimately was going to be Narcissus. But the one that really got me was, I believe it's The Question, is just straight up Judas from the Bible. Just actually, it's Judas Iscariot. Literally, I betrayed Jesus is running around the DC universe, as is, according to one issue of Green Lantern, just before the moment Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr fired the guns, Aaron Burr was teleported away by aliens and replaced with a clone of himself and was made immortal and actually runs into the Green Lantern in space. No shit. This is all real. But so if that stuff can be running around the DC universe, I literally cannot find a good reason why there isn't room for things like The First and Turrican to become part of the bigger Marvel mythos, because that really is the magic of things like Angela coming into the Marvel universe. And while I don't think Buffy should live there, I think room for them to share a space, a port city of mystical intersection would be hot.
Yeah, agreed. The only reason I would want Buffy to live there is because she's a Summers. And I think it would be funny if she were related to the Summerses.
That is, it's that RTD thing where because he makes everybody's last name Tyler and Jones.
Yeah, kind of.
Kevo, other than your super hot shirt, which is must have been bought for you by some guy who really loves you.
Yes, my shirt is a fusion as it is already. My shirt is a crossover with Doctor Who and the Powerpuff Girls. This shirt has been with me since 2008 or 2009 it must have been, because this is the Children of Time. This is series 4. This is the 3 Russell T Davies companions, and this is such a cute shirt. I love wearing this when we talk about Doctor Who, but I especially love wearing this today because we're talking crossovers. And Mark said in the comments, mentioned Doctor Who, that his ultimate dream crossover would be Bill and Ted meets Doc and Marty while crashing into the TARDIS. I really get that. I love stuff like that, and I love that that's a 3-way. I feel like I'd love to see Power Rangers get to cross over with something. I don't know exactly what, and I'm open to pitches, but I feel like that's a franchise that could even interact with so many things. It interacted with Ninja Turtles back in the day, and then they've done a lot of stuff with them in their crossover comics in the last few years. So I'd love to see them get a crack at some other franchise, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC,
What
Godzilla.
about a big contest of champions where like a handful of Marvel characters, the Power Rangers, representatives from the Alien universe, representatives from the Predator universe, DC, Spawn, that character over from Image Comics, Spawn. I just think it's more fun to say his name that way than Spawn. So, because there's two choices. There's Spawn and there's Spawn. But you find me a third way to say that, and I will just tell you that you're just talking nonsense.
Span. And I'm talking nonsense, so there you go. Speaking of nonsense.
Game time, right?
Game time.
One of the things... Oh, I'm ready. One of the things I love about this game is it gives us an opportunity to really think about what make the tropes of the things we love, right? What defines the show? One of the things that we've really enjoyed in this last couple of months of maybe a little bit more off time from new material is a chance to dive into things like the Scream franchise and get to know what makes Scream a unique horror movie. We talk about how like genres have conventions, but we covered Beacon 23 and Monstrous in the same episode, and they're both big picture sci-fi, but the amount of things they have in common other than quality isn't a whole lot. So I was really excited by this game to think about what made some of these items what they are, and also getting a chance to see Rue and Cloud Strife engage in each other's worlds. It's really funny. They both technically got to be famous by making pretend. So that's a real funny Zach Michelle Visage joke there. So
and both Ross and Jean-Luc have trouble controlling their tempers.
Yes, I completely agree. And they both work with real doctors. So right?
Zing.
So let's start with our first matchup.
One of these franchises up first, yeah.
Okay, Kevo, these goddamn images you made, I am fucked so good. This is legit amazing. So our first matchup is Friends versus Star Wars. Would you rather see the 6 core friends as the main characters of the original Star Wars trilogy, or would you rather see the main characters of the original Star Wars trilogy instead cast in a magical New York that's almost as fictitious as the galaxy they're in, and see them live their lives at Central Perk? This forced me to consider, are the Star Wars characters interesting outside of their scenario? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Kevo.
And that really is the great question. I think some are and some aren't. And I think this is one of those cases where I feel like the ever controversial sequel trilogy would give us a few characters who would give us a lot more laughter. Really add that up, because you had Obi-Wan was funny in the prequels, but that didn't really trump up their cast at all when it came to comedy. I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. If I had to pick one, I think part of what I would find fun about the Friends characters in space is that it would be like, Ross would use the Force by going and, activating his lightsaber. The things I would find funny about the Friends crew as Star Wars kind of pale to the things I would enjoy about seeing a character like, because here's what I'm mapping. Leia would be the Monica, and that would make Luke the Ross, and that would put Han in the role of kind of the Chandler. And when you think about the fact that Han is kind of, come on, it actually kind of works.
If you put all of Han's human sexiness onto Chewbacca instead of making him a furry thing, that's Joey. That's just Joey.
And R2D2 is Phoebe because like everything he says is kind of audacious anyway. And
Yeah.
so I really think that like, not to be dumb, but I actually really think that the cast of Star Wars repurposed into the universe of Friends has a lot more to offer than necessarily the non-meta contextual enjoyment I could get from the cast of Friends living it up a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It also kind of depends on how you want to imagine it. The idea of the Friends cast on the Millennium Falcon isn't the most interesting in the world to me. I think there's a few gags there, but the idea of them as professionals at the end of the Empire on Coruscant,
Yeah.
is itself actually kind of fun. And so that's like, for all of these, I'm going to be particularly looking for the pitch, because it does not just have to, I mean,
Yeah.
Star Wars is so many things. You can pitch the Friends as the original bunch. You can pitch them as Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron. You can pitch them kind of as they are, just in Star Wars. And similarly, you can kind of, similarly, you can pick who you want from the cast of Star Wars to be the Friends. It doesn't have to be Luke and Leia.
Right.
Vader, Palpatine, Grand Moff Tarkin, Snoke. There's real potential in going the villains route for who's all just sitting around together having coffee. This is tough. Does anybody have any further arguments or a solid vote?
What's really interesting, because we're gonna get to it a little bit later, but I was saying to Kevo earlier today that like I love Star Wars, but like for me, when people think like the villain that their shadow alone is enough to make you quake, in terms of big impact culture villains, for me it's Sephiroth. Like I don't really vibe with Vader the same way.
Wait, which one were you really into first?
I mean, Vader first, because I knew Star Wars first, but like I think, because like, and Sephiroth isn't even my favorite Final Fantasy villain or anything, but like in terms of that larger than life, this is that person that everybody points to as an example of, in this genre and this medium, a fearing, an evil, scary dude. I think Sephiroth is kind of greater than Vader in a lot of ways, because like every time Vader comes back, he's a little bit more like, oh, I love my kids. Oh. And every time Sephiroth comes back, he's a little bit more like, I'm going to ride the planet like a surfboard into your motherfucking nightmares. And like, that's a better villain. And Vader's the better character. So the hard part for me is like figuring out what role these characters, like Vader, and like, I don't know. I think he's the part that makes it sticky, because comparing these two things, there isn't a bad guy of Star Wars Friends. There's a bad guy of Star Wars, but if we're saying the Friends people as like, who's the bad guy?
Janice.
Reality? Oh, see, my guess was
And
either.
yeah, like, good.
Yeah, I bet say it's either, Gunther being like actually kind of creepy, or it's got to be like Reality being like, no, this rent control apartment, they would have found a way to force you out by now. This is New York, honey. We pronounce it Sadie, not Sade.
One of those things where there are like villains of Friends, where they're guest characters, people's bosses, antagonistic love interests, but those aren't the same thing as like, you don't want to put Vader as like Chandler's boss. That's weird. Bang!
I don't know. I think it could work. Janice is obviously not a villain, but putting Vader in the Janice role is super funny. Emily getting one of the villains, really funny. She could also be, what's his name? Darth Maul.
Emily is Emily is that lady from from the first season of Ahsoka with the bleached hair. She's got those same crazy.
Oh, yes. I forgot that we have them now too. Crazy lady with the giant bun. Oh God, Morgan Elsbeth. Oh gosh, I had another really good one. Oh, I don't know. It'll come back to me. But I feel like the villains can slot into some great places. Emperor Palpatine as John Lovett when they have to make him a meal and he gets super high on the way over.
And
I can't feel my stick.
Tartlets.
I can't feel my lightsaber.
Tartlets.
He's great.
Count Dooku as Tom Selleck. That was the other one.
How dare you? How dare you?
Listen, how dare you? Because it's Christopher Lee, so I'm being awesome.
Tom Selleck is one of the most beautiful men ever.
Christopher Lee was too.
Who's a hotter Sith Lord for Richard?
Oh, see, well, I was about to say Burt Reynolds, but I just realized Burt Reynolds is just like a real life Sith Lord.
He's not in Star Wars, I don't think.
No, but oh man, that magazine spread changed my life. You know.
I think I'm giving it to Friends Star Wars.
I think I'm giving it to Star Wars Friends. And so just to be clear, you're giving it to the 6 people on the right.
I'm giving it to the Friends in the Star Wars universe.
And I'm giving it to the Star Wars in the Friends universe. Kevo, this is your Sophie's choice, Kevy.
Oh, I thought TK was voting. I thought it was flipped.
Nope. I want to see the gang, like I said, gang as young professionals on Coruscant. I've got pitches on pitches on pitches for every single cast member of Star Wars in a Friends role. Call me for that.
Are you saying that you've got shows in different area codes?
Actually, it's all the same area code. It's just 212, but
same.
I think both work, but I think I'm also going with Friends in the Star Wars universe. That's
Kevo.
That'll be the one on the right?
Yeah.
I love being outvoted. I appreciate though that Tasty Cake is on my side. The man's got delicious taste in names and in multiverse picks, right?
That cake do be tasty.
Oh, so tasty. All right. Our first one in. I'm really excited about this one.
Sweet Jesus. I almost told you we couldn't do this one.
I would have bitten you on the ankle like a rabid squirrel. So
it wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
Right? I want to be clear with you. I think the cast of Glee on Discovery is great. I think the cast of Discovery on Glee actually being able to sing is one of the most remarkable things in the world. And so I am compelled to give it to the entire cast of motherfucking Discovery being able to belt like nobody's business on Glee. However, I really need anyone who knew me in high school would understand that I very much identify with Rachel Berry, and I would really like to see her in space.
A lot of people would like to shove her in an airlock. But so you understand, this means like the crew of the Discovery are the staff and students at like McKinley, right? So they're not. It's not exactly. It's not just them.
So everybody's going to be throwing slushies on Saru. I completely understand what we're saying here.
He has a skin condition,
and I guess I just need to double check. I think that makes Michelle Yeoh playing Sue, and I think it's got to be Anson Mount playing Shu. So, and it's everything I've ever wanted.
Wait, who do you have for Sue?
Michelle Yeoh.
Philippa.
Yeah, okay, right.
Philippa.
Yeah, good.
Oh, I might cry.
I'm telling you. So I think this is a tough one. I don't know.
So here's the thing: we know already that you can get a cast of Star Wars through a musical episode, it will be Dino fucking Might. So that is. Yeah,
we have a video of the cast of Discovery singing. They did a really cute video of them singing a cover of Seasons of Love with the words changed.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
because they have those two.
I always forget about the other one because he's not in the original cast. Sorry.
So that's big advantage them in terms of the pitch. Like we already know. It just works as stupid. If you did not think that the Strange New Worlds musical episode worked. You do not like joy or fun, and that is a you problem. So that's big advantage them. When I think about the cast of Glee on a starship, it's a real chuckle fuck situation. It is what if we did Lower Decks, but never at any point did we root for them to like persevere or survive, except for Tina Cohen Chang? What if we were just hoping?
You root for Tina?
Not really, but I don't root for the rest of them.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
You have to root for Blaine.
TK is a hard-edged Blaine. He'd root for Tina.
Oh yeah, I don't root for Blaine at all.
As a Rachel who wishes that
I know
for a Blaine, I root for Blaine.
I
like
sort
brother.
of
You never
root for Mercedes in terms of success, but she's not a great character.
Oh, well, lovely.
Well, that leads into my theory that on Glee you don't get any screen time if your life is going well. So Mercedes is happy too often for her to have characterization.
As Cyborg points out, there were probably a lot of STDs on Glee. So.
Yes, 100%. Thank you, Mark Salling.
Now we're on the list. We're getting demonetized.
Also, okay, so Holly Go Lightly, what the fuck is her last name? What's she doing?
On this?
Yeah. What is she doing on the ship? Is she the Harvey Mudd?
No, you know what? For me, she's more like the she's like
is she Lillian, a Gorn?
Lillian
no,
on season season 2 of
yes. I can't think of what her name is.
Strange New Worlds.
No, I love Carol Kane. No.
Yeah, no, but she plays that and she's like, I'm like 1,000,000 years old and like I hit somebody in the head in a Ferris wheel and said go with God or whatever.
Meanwhile,
she's
I
a
was
Gorn.
saying Holly Golightly is Luxana Troy. Oh no, I guess that would be April Rhodes. I take that back.
April Rhodes, man.
I kind of feel like Idina Menzel would be Luxana Troy.
There you go.
I could be whatever I want to be.
I'm okay.
Idina Menzel.
All right.
Enough Idina.
Kristen Chenoweth, kind of an EMHE vibe.
Okay, I'm gonna vote. I think Cyborg's right. It's got to go to Glee. It's got to go to Star Trek Discovery on Glee. I'm gonna pretend that they are the crew of a Starfleet school, or something like it. You know, like, and they're singing. It's songs. It doesn't even have to be sci-fi.
No, it's not Trek anymore. That's not the game.
All right, but then Saru is just kind of an odd thumb, and it's fine, and we'll write it in.
And that's why I said he has a skin condition. They would do something with it, and it would be.
I mean, they've gone back in time to 1996 before. They can figure it out.
It's all just Roger on American Dad at this point. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Glee featuring the Star Trek universe. I'm voting right.
Oh gosh, Kevo, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna go with. I assume you were going with him. I was gonna go with whatever.
I cannot possibly export this one to an audio episode. Go with the one on the right, you guys.
That's you. You said that. I describe what I do.
Yeah, agreed. But vote first.
Put that on your audio.
Describe your vote.
I love the image on the right. No, I love the image that I made for the Glee one, genuinely, because I used a poster from Discovery with the Vulcan salute, and I put the Glee L.
It's brilliant.
It looks real.
So,
yeah.
Finest moment, you know. I am always exceeding myself.
I really hope that there is a deep misunderstanding 200 years from now, and they're like, I guess they started portmanteau shows.
They could. Teak, do you really not have a vote? Shit.
Not yet. I was just gonna keep spitballing ideas. Kristen Chenoweth could have been Tuvix.
Because they're both. See, I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go on the left. I'm gonna go with the cast of Glee in Star Trek. It would be one season because they would get their ship blown up.
Yeah.
just for shiggles and just to make you be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I am voting with you, Kevo. I think it's funnier. Like I said, there's
It's
already
funnier to always vote against me.
there's already an advantage to the Discovery crew singing. It's too real. Like I feel like after the success of the Strange New Worlds episode, we might actually get a musical episode of Discovery this season. But we will never.
It's too real. You're why my so-called life was canceled.
I think that can't be true. I think I'm single-handedly why there was an extra 100,000 views per week. But yeah, I think it would be canceled after one season because they would get their ship blown up. Shu would try and fuck something he wasn't supposed to. The first time an EMH got a hold of Artie, they would be like, you don't actually need to be in that wheelchair, you lying little shitbag. And anyway, yeah, I just think it's funnier.
I changed my mind. I'm voting the other way.
Well, okay, fine, but I keep my vote the way it is.
You pitched something very depressing, and now I don't. Want
yeah,
that
my
anymore.
first thought was, wow, this is a bummer now.
You talked me out of it.
Which part was so depressing?
Where they start calling the disabled kid a shitbag. So
It's only because they shouldn't have put what's his name in a wheelchair when he wasn't actually disabled.
But that's not the game. So
Talked me out of it.
I have no shame.
And that's how the game goes.
all right. Obviously, it's the left. Obviously, number one, it is obviously the Golden Girls characters representing the 4 elements of the Avatar universe.
Well, so sound off. What are they? Who's who?
Well, Dorothy is an airbender because she's got to be holier than thou. She's very, why can't I think of his name? I loved him so much in Korra, what's their name's kid?
J.K. Simmons, Monkey Yatsu,
Yeah.
Tenzin.
Thank you. She's very Tenzin in that way. I
Yes.
think that we can be sure that Sophia is a firebender. She's cranky. She's only throwing fire at shit.
Also, I just feel like picture it Sicily is very like, remember when the fire
Of Pompeii.
Fire Nation? Yeah, exactly.
I think that in her I'm a sexy, because like we've never seen like I'm sexy fluid water bending, and I think that Blanche is very fluids,
And she's from the swamp.
and then Rose is like a very nature-y earthbender. She's very about the
Yeah.
flowers.
The stupidest people we see are generally earthbenders.
And so I could also see her screaming my cabbages, what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
So, like,
exactly where I'm thinking. We're
I really feel like this is the show, and then it's very dumb, but I specifically would want, guys, please, I thought about this all day. I specifically would want, I didn't mean like not to stop me. I just mean like, don't laugh at me. Stan should be an earthbender that Dorothy had kids with, so they have mixed bender kids.
Ooh.
Now let's flip it over. For one thing, who is the fourth Oh, it's Toph. Sorry. Okay, Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph. Who's
There
who?
wasn't a good poster that had all of them.
That's okay. That's okay.
Katara is Dorothy, and
obviously.
that makes Zuko Stan.
You're one of those people. Oh my god.
No, not even. But they're not together.
Oh right,
don't
they're not
think.
together. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I ship them
Okay.
being. I actually really. It's really stupid.
Their whole
I
marriage
very-
is the end of book 2.
I romanticize, like deeply. I romanticize Dorothy and Stan as when love comes from somewhere unusual and it has a special meaning for that reason. But they do not belong together. They should never be together. It's a sad statement on
Like
women not
Reed Richards and Sue
together.
Storm.
Like Scott and Jean.
Like Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Totally. I hear what you're saying about Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Okay, so we've got Katara as Dorothy. Love that. Keep
Aang
going.
is Rose.
Oh, burn.
Sokka is Sophia because
Yeah, he is
her-
definitely the horniest.
and from her old life.
Oh no, Sokka's not Sophia. Toph is Sophia.
Sokka's-
Sokka is Blanche.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that, but I was trying to go with like familial relation.
No, and I also feel like a lot of Toph stuff is like, you should have seen me back in the day, even though she's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that didn't help me make my decision, but I'm glad that we have everything lined up. So the old lady's going on an adventure. That's funny. Them all living together isn't super funny.
Well, I also do want to add part of what makes the idea of the Golden Girls as the Airbender, as the bending crew, a little bit more funny for me in particular is it's the idea that they are older. It's this notion that they are truly like geriatric airbenders and firebenders and waterbenders still. They are older and they are still thriving. They're still doing good work. Part of what I find a little bit tough about figuring out how this is the golden years of the kids is it has to be a different presentation on golden. It has to be a more Mika, we are golden kind of, hey, that's like the greatest. That's like, that is the sound of the Runaways.
I truly can't. The idea that after the war they all retire, because like that was just exhausting. Like getting Fire Lord Ozai out was a job enough for these children, and they all retire at ages 12 through 16. I think that's funny. I'm already laughing. I'm cracking up. But so, I'm also thinking like the Order of the White Lotus are all geriatric benders. So we have some frame of reference. That's also like a great dating pool for these women. Oh God, who dates Uncle Iroh? It's got to be Blanche, right? No, it's probably Rose, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's probably
where Blanche tries to get with him first, but
yeah.
I would like to point out that the largest age gap in marriages belongs to Dorothy with Uncle
Blanche's uncle.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson.
It's fucking gross.
I should say it one more time.
So she ends up with Boomy.
I told Kevo for years that it was Liam Neeson, not Leslie Nielsen, and for years, I swore to him that there was this huge age gap that's in the final episode of Golden Girls when Liam Neeson marries Dorothy.
I mean, you would still be right.
Liam Neeson was on Third Rock from the Sun, so I was just like, sure.
Things happen.
I believe it. No.
Yeah, so Dorothy marries Boomy, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Sophia ends up with it's probably the really cranky Water Tribe guy. Okay, yeah, I'm sold. It's the Golden Girls as benders.
And whether it's the Ember Island players or it's Henny Penny, No Chaser, you're going to get a great musical episode with little vignettes and little funny numbers. And
the Ember Island sojourn in general has got to also give us that version of the game show.
Yeah. Grab that dough.
Grab that dough. Yep. Grab those cabbages. It would be
Earth Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
You've got style.
It doesn't work age-wise, but Jenny Lewis is Azula.
I'll play.
And a Rilo Kylie to you too. Okay.
So that's 2. That's technically already locked in, but Kevo, please.
Yeah, no, same. I wish I rooted better for the Golden Girls on Avatar versus the Golden Girls. Maybe if it was Korra, who knows? Maybe we'll revisit this.
I think Nico picked this one fully knowing that Atla Golden Girls would win.
It was just so that I didn't go with the one that I really wanted to do, which was Golden Girls Batman, where I would be genuinely torn.
Yeah, I feel like that is what you mentioned. Anyway, okay.
And audience support as well. Tasty Cake and Cyborg also agreed. So we are down for the Golden Girls as element benders.
I did this one because I am madly in love with the guy one block below me. and I tried to put together two things I thought he would love, and I tried to make it in a way that I would actually be kind of compelled. One of my hallmarks of X-Men is a huge rotating cast of flawed people who make tough decisions with exceeding abilities that they shouldn't always have for the reasons of complicated, compromised responsibility. I truly thought the idea of the X-Men as a learning hospital was a major function of what the school has always been for these kids, and vice versa. The idea of seeing characters like Wolverine in a role where he has to have a bedside manner in that gruffness, in seeing somebody like Mystique being of dubious trustworthiness. Is it a Michael Mancini where she's doing it all for her own benefit, or is she secretly doing it to benefit patients? I had a lot of actual moral question when I got to this one, in a way that made me really excited for getting more into Grey's Anatomy going forward.
And we've had multiple student generations, some of which have been hits, some of which have been flops.
We're looking at you, young X-Men.
Yeah, this crew is definitely feeling like they're really trying to foist some New Mutants onto us. That's these kids at the bottom of this one here, including, already participated in this event, Harry Shum Jr. on the left over there.
And is this
really on Grey's?
Yeah, he's one of this year's med students.
Oh, it's good to see someone break the curse. That's so great.
Is this the woman who played the Romulan time traveler from this season of Strange New Worlds? As in Cora, as in the stepsister from season 7 of Once Upon a Time?
Very possibly.
Because that would blow my mind. That, like...
Also, is that very fine gentleman up in the upper right the same guy that's been on since the beginning?
Yeah, Chief Weber.
Oh my God, he got far.
Just keeps getting hotter and hotter. It's really unfair.
I would have never stopped watching if I knew he wound up looking like this by season 29 or whatever.
Yeah, they gave him a really hot cougar wife who is a penis surgeon. And the really hot cougar penis surgeon wife is Jesse Williams' mom. So everybody's related by marriage. It's very funny.
And yes, that's Adelaide Kane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy because they were both like in high school shows 10 years ago.
Yeah,
she was the lead in Rain on the CW.
And in discussing this idea of this really immense cast and hearing the Rain on the CW and Harry Shum coming from Glee, one of the things that I'm really struck by, Ellen Pompeo represents sort of the actual foundation of the X-Men. We might have more, we might be doing better, let's take care of other people. One of the big things is that we talk a lot about how the X-Men never have any actual weird-looking people on them for very long, and when they are weird-looking, they're Beast, and he's jacked and he's a furry, or they're Mystique and she can become anyone. Disabilities are usually held to something like you've lost your hands and can telekinetically hold robot hands where they belong, or Xavier, who thinks of wheelchairs as optional. So we find ourselves in a situation where, like, the idea that Ellen Pompeo is meant to represent this very standard white woman to this kind of television show, and yet the actual woman she is in real life is this unbelievable thing. Now, how much does that bleed into the show? Is she the same sort of, like, I don't know if you know, but like there are other people's concerns on the show that she is in real life?
Yeah, that kind of expands over time. Once they start to realize that they're no longer doing like a hot, sexy doctor soap because they're all a little too old for that, they start to do a lot more social justice issue episodes, some of which are really clunky, some of which are really fantastic, but all of which make a really earnest effort to have conversations about, like the fact that Ellen Pompeo has a sister who is black and a daughter who is black, and they both often find themselves in situations where they're the only black people in a room, and
No, I just
nobody
want to double
really-
check. Do you mean Meredith Grey has a daughter who's black?
Yeah, Meredith
Because
Grey's oldest
I know-
daughter is adopted and is black.
Because for real, I know
Ellen Pompeo's
Pompeo
husband
has-
is black, and so she has
Right.
black children. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, there will end up being conversations where, you know, Maggie, especially the black sister, has to say to people like, you know, it's uncomfortable for me that you have to ask if something is okay to say to a black person. Like, I don't like being the person that you go to for that. I'll do it, but just know that, like, it's exhausting being a person who has to explain the black experience to you. They did a lot of that with gay issues too, when they had more gay characters. They went hard on it when they had Sarah Ramirez, and then they came back to it when they had the new guy whose name I'm forgetting, but he's a very cute little gay elf boy, Jake Borelli, who is great. Anyway, so yeah, it is. They really do take on the concerns of, I think, kind of better than the X-Men do a lot of the time. And on top of that, I just want to say that, like, I think when you get to this many episodes of Greys, you really do have, in a lot of ways, a better version of the Jean Grey Phoenix archetype than we've ever really gotten out of the comics. In that Ellen Pompeo's character is this kind of
Meredith Jean Grey.
She's very Jean Grey. I mean, she's a redhead. She's predestined to be amazing. You know, she has surgeon powers. You know, her mother, she inherited surgeon powers from her mother, and she is incredibly broken as a person, but incredibly powerful and can kind of do anything, is at times really kind of toxic, but also a wonderful person. I don't know. It really sort of works in a way that it often doesn't work for Jean in the comics, because it's a lot of men being like, I don't know, she's the most important person, but I don't feel like writing a woman. So, more Cyclops stories.
And that's always very important because we don't have enough white men in the X-Men.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I'm gonna have to. I mean, this is gonna be the one we spend the longest on, I guess. I'm gonna have to argue the other side.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I know that from when I watched Grey's Anatomy, those are very real flawed people, right? And I find them interesting. What I remember of them, and I know that there's a lot of amazing characters waiting for me when I start the show shortly. But one of the other things I know is that the X-Men themselves as a franchise are such dynamic characters. I kind of feel like even if you took away the powers, even if you took away time travel and memory loss and adamantium skeletons, I think what you're left with are some really phenomenal characters that, set in a hospital environment, would still thrive fantastically. So I'm torn here.
I also want to just throw out there, you don't have to get rid of all the stuff. You clearly can't have an adamantium skeleton, but more than one character has at least done a very long guest starring role. In this case, I'm talking about Autumn Reeser, or is it Elizabeth Reeser? It's Elizabeth Reeser. I always get the two confused. Where she has no memory. She has no memories. And she goes through the entire thing and does not figure out who she is until the end of like it's a double digit guest appearance on the show. So, you know, you don't have to get rid of everything. There is
babies.
There was a dead sister who was resurrected, by which I mean she had gone to do medical stuff in Iraq and died, but actually didn't die, and was held in an Iraqi war camp for literally like a decade, which is just unheard of. It doesn't happen at all. But like Kevin McKidd just like all of a sudden has a sister who is alive. So, you know, we get resurrections too.
Okay, well, now I don't know what to think. This is tough for me.
I know, it's hard.
Okay, I'm going to go with X-Men and Grey's Anatomy because I'm imagining in my Chicago Hopiest 1997ist self, Mandy Patinkin is Wolverine coming in and just, you know what I mean? It's all a very hot moment for me. I think the X-Men could make any hospital show work. And I worry about the ability of some of the classes of the Greys pool to make an era of X-Men work.
Yeah, it is a tough one. It really is, because these are all very interesting characters in both directions. And there is just such a plethora of X-Men characters as well. I went with a X-Men the movie poster to represent, but we're talking the whole... There's just tons of characters, because it is very soapish, very similarly to Greys. But I feel like we've gotten Greys on television, and what I really wish we had was a 20-season X-Men TV show, because... as we're talking about it, Meredith Grey really is like watching Jean Grey grow up over time, or like Scott Summers grow into the leader of the X-Men. And that would be such an amazing thing to see in live action television over that same length of time, with characters with mutations. See what they would do potentially with the mutant storylines over the years. It might end up being really horrible and offensive, because, well, that happens on the X-Men as well a lot. But it would be really, really, really cool to see. Whereas I feel like transposing the X-Men characters onto Grey's Anatomy is just more of Grey's Anatomy, just with different characters. So they're both great, but I'd be more excited for Grey's and X-Men.
Nico, I'm sorry that we keep outvoting you.
It is okay, because I was just thinking to myself, and it's why I had to look off.
Actually, no, we didn't. We don't keep outvoting you. I poisoned the well with that Star Trek one and got outvoted myself. So,
well, here's the thing. I think you guys are right here, because I remember that that early issue of X-Men where when Jean Grey is doing that psychic surgery with that scalpel, she accidentally nicks the fart bag and then she gets in trouble. So it's like the one thing I remember from season 1 is that time that Meredith maybe cuts open that guy's inner fart bag. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it's called.
Thank God.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's okay. I don't mind losing these, because one of the things that I'm really enjoying about this game is it's giving us an opportunity to think about what makes these things. It wasn't until I sat down and said, would Grey's Anatomy and X-Men transpose against each other? You know what? Actually, they kind of would. Oh my God, Kevo, I can't believe I just realized there's 7 people in that shot.
Yep.
Okay. Oh my God, the Frasier logo on Sandman. Okay. Yep. This one is, what if the Frasier cast were Sandman, the Endless in particular, and what if the Endless were transposed onto Frasier?
Wait, who's on the far right in Frasier?
Bulldog.
Who?
That's Bulldog. He's the sports guy at the radio station. He and Roz don't exactly have a will they won't they, but he winds up being Alice's babysitter for a little while. He is a good buddy to Martin and a foil to Frasier, and is the only other person to be made a regular in the course of the show, and is a regular 4 seasons.
But it's like in the middle. He is, genuinely at least in like a third of the whole series, but it's a series that's like 260 episodes.
Right.
So it shows how a series regular can get lost.
And he's actually notable, famous Broadway gay legend, Dan Butler, who is a unbelievably well-reputed writer and director on Broadway, who repeatedly strips down on Frasier to show his incredibly hot body, and it really works for me.
So he's Destruction.
Yeah.
Oof. Yes, that is, because I mean, Frasier really does embody Dream.
Daphne's
Frasier,
Delirium.
This red light is me, by the way. I'm really
Oh, is
proud
it
of how
really?
this lined up. Yeah,
Oh my
I
god!
did
And
that.
the dust looks like it's part of the image of
I know, I
Frasier.
worked really hard.
Okay, hold on. I want to write these down because I think you're really onto something with some of these TK. So hold on. Let me just get a. So I, like a lot of people who think they are important, have 17 monitors, and sometimes it takes me 16 minutes to find my cursor. So Frasier is Dream. Okay, and then I
Okay.
really like Daphne as Delirium.
Yeah.
Kevo, what do you got?
I was trying to think of something for Eddie, but now I feel like an ironic despair would be interesting.
Yeah, no, he is despair and the dad is desire.
Oh my! What does that make Roz?
So Niles is destiny, so Roz is death.
I think no. I think the old man should be Death, and Roz
yeah.
should be Desire.
Yes.
I don't agree, but I concede that I don't know enough Frasier that I'm not gonna like be like, I know I'm right. But the dad and the dog are a pair, and the dad is very much like an adversarial role to Frasier a lot of the time. And Roz is very much the person that would take a walk with Frasier after he got himself together. And is like, I've got my own stuff going on, but I'm here because you're a mess. And if that ain't death, baby.
I hear it, but I think at the same time, after season 4 or so, Martin really does represent the person that Frasier goes to. Roz winds up representing something a little bit more complicated in Frasier's life, and as far as a lot of the needs he has as a caregiver that he lacks from Freddie, that he temporarily tries to put onto Martin that don't exactly work because Martin's an adult. He figures out how to repurpose them onto Roz by developing an unhealthier relationship with women than he's had previously. And by seeing Martin as a male equal in a collegiate relationship, he's able to elevate Martin to his friend in a way that changes the dynamic for the remainder of the show. And I think that one of the things that Roz comes to represent is Frasier's inability to understand women as an archetype, which is one of the things. So,
you know who Desire really is, though.
Eddie?
No.
Lilith?
Come on. Yes.
Oh.
Desire is actually really Lilith, but
I am undeniably sexual.
Yep, there it is. Perfect.
But at the same time, I do want to challenge because, like, if you think about it, hell is in so many ways every foil that Frasier has throughout the show, and the dreaming really is the radio station.
Yeah.
The apartment is the castle, and Lucian is the sherry. Like, there are so many parallels that I think I would love to see Dream and his whole family forced to live this sort of
normie life.
More than I'm dying to see the cast of Frasier be supernatural entities. Just because, again, I think this suffers from that meta revolution. This is funny because we understand the context where the Sandman idea, where Sandman is Frasier, is just amazing on paper.
What you got, Kevo?
I think I'm leaning left with the cast of Frasier and Sandman. Kelsey Grammer as Sandman definitely fascinates me.
I hear where you're coming from. I really like the idea of them being thrust into roles of sort of archetypal godlike power and having to sort through those. I do hear what Nico is saying about the fact that, like, maybe because, like, Frasier already experiences sort of this crisis of self at all times, that I don't know that opening him up to omnipotence changes the facet of perspective on that in a way where I'm like, now I see things differently. But the idea of Dream, who goes through a similar crisis of self all throughout, time and space and the dreaming, and goes through hell, but never really has to do the one thing of like just being a person for a little bit. Like it's really said that the only person that does that is death. Death becomes mortal every once in a while. And
Chris Bacalo comes in, gives it some flair. You
Nails
can never tell what's happening.
And also like, I don't know where all of the endless would fit in, but like the Corinthian as more of like a guest, a one-off appearance in an episode where like, oh no, the Corinthian's in town, is very funny to me. Joanna Constantine also has some Lilithy vibes to her.
Well, the other thing is,
I guess Lucifer probably really does too.
There are some amazing side characters in Frasier that we just don't even have the room to bring up. Like Emmy award-winning turn from Jean Smart as Lana, the original screaming Lana, what? On television that literally won Jean Smart an Emmy or two. The idea that we would be able to get somebody like Thessaly for Lana would be such an unbelievable idea. I don't know. This is tough. I'm gonna lean right. I'm gonna lean right no matter what happens. I am worried about my future as a Hollywood producer, but it turns out if I'm just a terrible enough person, it'll be fine. If I keep getting it wrong, but I'm leaning right. I think right is the Fatchy Nunu of this.
I'll give it.
You want to see the characters of Sandman existing as the characters of Frasier?
Yes.
I am with Nico on that.
Okay. I'm going to throw up a protest vote.
We love a protest vote.
For the cast of Sandman, for the cast of Frasier as the cast of Sandman. But yeah, that's how the game goes. I'm still into it. I'm sure Tom Sturridge, is that his name? I'm sure he would. I'd love to hear his "Dear God."
Dear God.
Okay. If Kevo was not my husband, I would leave my husband for him, as he is the man that made these two graphics. I literally think it makes the image on the left looks like something out of a PlayStation magazine from 1997, and the image on the right, I swear to motherfucking God, could literally be promotional imagery for Final Fantasy VII Remake. They would use a dumb fucking font with that much glitter for a thing that is this depressing.
I like the way the ball covered her eye here.
Can we also talk about the fact that we are on season 16 of Drag Race and we are on installment 16 of Final Fantasy?
We sure can.
Ooh, different game next time.
The amount of things we've talked about where like the nature of Drag Race has had to change within era.
Yeah.
Part of the time it's changed within era because the nature of the release platform changed.
Yeah.
Something Final Fantasy knows all too well. So
going from PlayStation to logo to VH1 to PS3. So we are talking about, would the girls of season 16, in this case, of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I think if you really need to, you can conceptualize just a pack of rabid drag queens from the Drag Race franchise. Would they fit into the world of Final Fantasy VII better?
I'm not playing that game because because season 5, that group of girls would be Final Fantasy VIII. And I can tell you why Jinx Monsoon would thrive in a world with junctioning.
Okay, we're going to save that. We're going to save that for a very specific...
And 15 is Final Fantasy X. And we could do this all day.
I know. So, or would the queens and kings, and because it's Japan in 1997, they are not saying everybody in between, but really everybody in between.
Ketchi.
Kind of Vincent.
Minaki.
Final Fantasy VII, how would they play in a season of RuPaul's Drag Race?
I just want to say that I specifically originally did have season 15 and then changed my mind to 16. I really think these girls could kill it in Midgar. I showed Kevo Final Fantasy VII Advent Children for the first time in our marriage, and I don't just cry during Advent Children. I cannot recover from I need a minute. It's terrible. I'm literally sitting there going, it's Omni Slash. He's using Omni Slash. And like it's bad, you guys.
That is just one of the best moments in any like
when they start playing the Why We Fight piano version and Tifa starts fighting in the church. Like
that's another really good one.
The compendium of Final Fantasy VII is a really magical experience for people who've never had the opportunity to interact with it. And this idea that it's a very hard looking thing. It's a very graphically 90s polygonal sort of hyper what's the word I'm looking for? Transmit cyberpunk, a very 90s cyberpunk aesthetic. Actually, look at these girls. They're as polygonal as it gets. And polygonal is the adjectival form of polygon. Like early Final Fantasy only worked in polygons. Like those images on the bottom right used to be much more blocky than that, right? I would love to see Cloud do a fabulous costume with wings.
Wait,
I would love
Nico, you haven't played Remake.
but I've watched every minute of gameplay on YouTube.
Okay, well he serves a look with little wings.
He serves an amazing look. And that's what I was going to say. Like, it would be amazing to see that. It would be amazing to see Nanaki's human cosplay. It would be amazing to see Barrett untucked. Full stop.
I also want to break in real quick because Cyborg made a comment about the numbering system of the Final Fantasy franchise, and I wanted to point out that we have at least one very lengthy episode where we talk at length about the releases and numbering of the Final Fantasy franchise from, I think it was over the summer. So definitely check that out. It's mostly about Final Fantasy pixel remasters and Theatrhythm on Switch, but it's a lot of history because we love our history.
And because, that's one of the things that defines Final Fantasy. It's so about its numbering. It's so about where it's been and where it's going. And that's one of the reasons that I think, for me, these queens in Final Fantasy, it's going to sound dumb, but you would never get through an entire game with 14 characters. Some of them are going to get knocked off. You're not going to be able to bring all of your party members with you. These girls already know they're in for a ride. They already know that some of them won't make it to the end. I have a feeling that I don't want to know where Plain Jane shoves her materia. And simultaneously, if you ask me if Nymphia Wind can tap into the life stream and summon up magic, I think her and Saphira could quite literally call Meteor by themselves. It's got to go to the queens. Run in Final Fantasy VII like they're Shinra. Okay. Listen, Yuna is the okay. This comment has to go up. Let's have a conversation for a minute. Yuna is the most perfect.
Read it.
Aerith and Tifa are babes, but always had hot for Renoa and Yuna. Yuna is the most perfect video game character ever. Most perfect video game character ever. Renoa throws her dog at people. Full stop. Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite video game of all time, and I think I'm just jealous because I want Squall to myself, and now I have him. Wave hi, TK. So I got a Squall. He literally says whatever to more things than you can imagine. But she throws her dog at people, dude. That's not sexy. That's animal abuse.
I mean, okay, so
I'm joking. I'm 1,000,000%. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm 1,000,000% joking.
Obviously, Cloud would look gorgeous in drag. Aerith and Tifa gorgeous. Even Yuffie would be really fantastic. I would love to know what Red looks like in drag. What's Red's drag?
I think it probably looks like what Roseanne Barr looks like in drag.
Barrett and Sid are tough. Sid probably is going to do okay.
It is the most unbelievably sexy male video game character. It's like him, Snow, and Waka. It's tough, man.
You heard Nico's opinion here first, folks. That is Nico's opinion.
Waka and Sid are like the ultimate men over 30 video.
I think Waka is really cute, but also not over 30. But I don't know. I don't know.
No? Blitzball.
That is 85% your impression of one of your other partners. We will talk about it later.
I was going to say that's 1/8 of his personality, but yeah, that too. Drywall.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Okay, so
He throws the dog. No, not really.
Barrett's going to have some real trouble in drag. He's also maybe not going to handle the choreo so great.
Vincent would eat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Vincent would. It's hard to talk about. It would be Vincent's season to lose.
Vincent would give Nymphia a run for her money. That's where I'm at with it.
He would be literally one of the most competitive, and he would also kill at a season of the Traitors. Vincent just sitting there. I wouldn't write my name. Lucretia.
I feel like I'm gonna give it to the dolls being in Midgar, but I do want to put a pin in this subject and revisit it further because I don't think it should go to the queens every time.
Can I tell you why I super duper agree with that?
Yeah.
Tara would eat a season of Drag Race like nobody's business, and the idea of Tara and like Cypher, not Kuja. Oh, who's the other clown? It's Kuja and it's this is gonna kill me. Anyway, I'll look it up. There's enough really creepy clowns in the history of Final Fantasy that would destroy a season of Drag Race. You're totally right.
I also just think the 4 boys of 15 would all, even the husband, again, I said it about some like random man that I would set you all on fire for him. Oh, right. It was the photographer from Drag Race the other day.
Thank you for remembering that you'd threaten to kill us and not the man, because that means you love us more, at least.
I didn't threaten to. I said I would. I would also...
Kefka.
Yes.
Kefka and Kuja would win whatever seasons they're on, and not just because they would kill all the other girls.
I fully agree with that. And I think despite the fact that he is very large and broad and could break Cameron Michaels' back, Gladio would still do incredibly well in drag. And
Gladio would be Buff Enough's inspiration.
Yeah. Yes.
And Cyborg, if they let me, we will do an entire video about my intricate theories about how this also has elements of Final Fantasy VIII tied in, because the lion and wolf, right, Griever, and the wolf that manifests on Cloud starting in Advent Children, I think are spiritually connected. And I have a whole thing for this. I will do a whole video. I cannot wait. This is one of my favorite topics of all time, like literally.
So because Nico did not read the comments,
oh my God, it's literally one of my worst qualities.
What was being discussed is the fact that there is a theory out there that I love, that the world of Final Fantasy X is a precursor to the world of Final Fantasy VII. There are some Easter eggs that would say that is true.
That Unalesca might be actually Genova.
there are also some comments made by devs of the game that would lead you to believe it's true. But you have to keep in mind that it's very different over there. This is something that happens in Zelda 2 where they're like, yeah, this timeline thing, totally real, 100% absolutely accurate, always intended. This is how it's supposed to be. And then 2 years later, they're like, we've never, ever thought of a timeline. There is no official timeline. That's just completely all made up. So, you know,
lines.
those Easter eggs are there, but we may never know.
This is also the same universe, people, not the same exact timeline, but the same group of creators that say that somehow Ultimecia is not Renoa, despite every bit of proof. A whole video will do. But I think this was one of my favorite things we've ever talked about because, like, number one, Megami deserves her flowers.
Yeah.
And I think we'll can agree.
Get into that tomorrow. So hold on, though. Who's the Cloud Strife?
You know, it's a little bit tough because Plasma serves big Tifa energy. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who's dutiful. I'll stay and do the good fight.
I hate Dilly Shilly Shally.
Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. Cry every time. Honestly, it's Saphira. And it's not Saphira for the reasons you'd think. She's quiet. She's stoic. It's really her show, even though she doesn't have the most dialogue. She's a powerful figure who has command of a big idea, even if she doesn't understand how she's going to take. I mean, I don't understand how somebody who thinks, look, I'm not coming for opera singers as somebody whose whole life is opera, but she has to know that some of her highest skill sets are not necessarily drag race competitive. And like, I think in a lot of ways, maybe I just have blinders and can't see anybody else, but like Nymphia is Yuffie and I won't hear anything else.
Oh man, this would take us a while to really get into because I think Saphira is kind of more along the lines of a Vincent. And I kind of like...
Okay, I like that a lot because
dialogue-wise and sort of in terms of kind of coming in with an authoritative opinion, I want to give her Barrett, but I do not want the large black queen to be the large black queen. So like...
Oh, but can we agree that plain Jane is Ketchi?
Yeah, that's
traitorous.
Right. Yeah, kind of, because it's Rufus Shinra for a while, right?
Yeah.
So yes, yes, that actually 100% works. I'm tempted to say that Cloud is like, you know, it's Dawn, Amanda, Nymphia, and Q somewhere in there. I guess maybe Dawn's not the Aerith. Dawn might be the Yuffie.
Can I just say that I think Mirage is Aerith because she died too early?
Okay, sure. I just everybody, so we're clear. RuPaul is Sephiroth.
No, RuPaul is Hojo.
RuPaul's Genova.
She is Mother.
which would make Michelle Visage Sephiroth, which still works.
And,
Michelle Visage.
That makes Carson, Ross, and Santino, Kadaj, Lowe's, and the third one.
Yeah.
Man, that's got some deep dive shit happening now.
Yeah, we'll go further into this later. I think with 2 votes, we're pretty firmly decided on the girls of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 being excellent for Midgar, but Kevo, I would still love to know if you agree or if you want to see these Midgarian clowns doing some serious drag. Maybe doing.
I mean, I would, but I think that just is theatrhythm at the end of the day. So,
the big question is, who do you think they would all be in Snatch Game?
That is the big question, is it not? Yeah, no, I'm with the crowd. I'm down. I'm with it.
You know, and I do think that is the one thing that I am maybe a little bit giving up here is I think the funniest thing in the entire world, and I'm going to just say it right now, Cloud's Zach at Snatch Game.
You're so
anyway, DID isn't funny.
Speaking of
So-
backstabbing queens,
And I was about to say, and people who seem to have multiple personalities. The Traitors is quite literally my favorite thing in the world right now. The only reason we didn't watch Traitors the second it happened is because we were lucky enough to be at the New York City Center limited engagement of Once Upon a Mattress, re-scripted by Amy Sherman Palladino with
So
some
good.
unbelievable talent. And it would have been served by somebody like an Alan Cumming in it, but I wouldn't have changed anybody out of that cast. That said, Kevo, I wouldn't have thought it until I saw it here, but I genuinely would love Alan Cummings' very campy Kingpin. It would be really great if he was just torturing all of these street level heroes, and every one of these people in the Faithful was like a Daredevil or an Elektra, and the Traitors were actually corrupted by the Hand.
I see him more as an Owlsley because of all his bird motifs. I mean, he literally wore a giant feathered shirt. Like a long sleeve, fully feathered shirt. So that's more what I see for him.
How do you feel about this one, TK?
Oh man. I think I really hate the cast of the Traitors, and it is.
Are you caught up right now?
Yeah.
That is one of the most satisfying things I have ever seen in television history.
I don't really feel like it is, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and I'm super excited.
I did not like that person.
Yeah, no, neither did I, and I'm glad that person is gone. I don't know that I found it super satisfying.
I've waited for it multiple seasons.
But I did think it was super funny when those two people were trying to ford that river to get that box.
I'm gonna abandon a woman.
I thought the funniest thing was, no, I need it more than you. Drowns her. No, I need it more than you. Drowns him.
That's what I was talking about.
Very Daredevil.
So I hate them all, and it's only so I hate them, or I'm not interested in them. There's very few. It's like Kate. I'm really in it for Kate now. There's very few that I'm like I'm loving watching this person in it. I don't know. It's a weird to like be kind of enjoying the show, but to just hate everybody. And meanwhile, I love everybody in Hell's
Phaedra
Kitchen
as Black Mariah.
I like it. I do like it. I love everybody in Hell's Kitchen, and the idea of them, for whatever reason, all having to go together to a Scottish castle where they cannot kill each other except for in the prescribed terms that Alan Cumming has given to them, and to play this game. I think that's exceedingly funny. The idea that Daredevil might be the traitor and Wilson might be a faithful. Very funny.
I am a faithful.
I've always been a faithful.
You
voted against me in front of Vanessa.
Alan Cumming.
Alan Cumming dressed as Vanessa.
Alan Cumming dressed as Vanessa. Yes,
I call
100%.
this one Rabbit in a Windstorm.
The Punisher. I'm a faithful, you idiots.
Me, CT. I'm a faithful. I'm a Punisher.
I already covered this.
So
I don't know how he simultaneously
1 penny, 2
looked-
penny.
He literally simultaneously looks like actual pornography and like a picture of someone the moment before they pass out at all times.
It's really weird. I think I'm not locked in yet, but unless somebody really sells me on it, I want to see the cast of Daredevil play Traitors.
Yeah. I think part of me wants to see Janelle's Jessica Jones. Part of me wants to see, Dan Giesling play Punisher and then be replaced. A part of me wants what he wants, but I think you're right. I do think, TK, that the ultimate outcome of a bunch of superheroes in a trust game, I mean, it's not suddenly, because there's certain things we can take away, but it's not suddenly the actors. It's not, we're putting Deborah Ann Wall and Charlie Cox in a situation where they're lying to each other. Frankly, the world of Daredevil is a bunch of people who love lying to each other. Matt doesn't know how to have an honest relationship. That's why he can't make it work with the night nurse. So, I think Daredevil Traitors, the right-hand side here, that's the way to go.
Yeah, the only remaining joke I want to make is, Kate, we needed that magical amulet to stop the hand, and you threw it in the sewer. Why did you do that?
I
don't
got
know.
confused.
I think I got confused.
She's the best thing about television.
If I'm not going to live through this after the hand are defeated, why would I bother helping stop them? But yeah, no. Karen is one of the traitors.
I have to shoot Wesley.
Yeah, would be amazing.
Oh my god, she's killing Ekin Sue.
But Matt needs to get pulled in. He needs to get drafted by the traitors. And then what will he decide? Well, I guess we'll find out next week.
Oh my god, the truth would be blind.
We're bad people.
Okay, let's go to the right.
Yeah.
Despite this being such a leftist show. Speaking of leftists, they really could have just called it the left wing for the first 4 years, and then they could have just called it the uncomfortably moderate wing that doesn't want to upset anybody on the network, and that's the John Rosers. And Llewellyn. I don't want to shoot that short, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Is Donna the Vampire Slayer? Or is it Jed Bartlett? Because here's the thing. I think either way, Leo is the Watcher.
And he's very tired.
But I do think if it is in fact President Bartlett doing splits in the cemetery at night, it's going to the left. It's going to the left.
So, CJ is obviously the Vampire Slayer, you dummy.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she's the Cordelia. I don't know. Don't tell Allison Janney short. She's sexy-ish.
I could also see a 3 generations thing happening. Yeah, no, CJ, I'm pretty sure is the Vampire Slayer.
Maybe she's a retired Slayer. I don't know how that works.
There's too many men on the West Wing for this to really work.
So then is it just President Buffy with Vice President or with a Chief of Staff Giles?
So Willow's obviously the president.
No, she's the Sam Seaborn.
Yeah.
No. She's the young ingenue that everybody believes in.
Oz is Sam Seaborn.
No, Oz is definitely Dule Hill. He doesn't have much to say. Yes. He comes in and he leaves.
Yes. You pretty much always like him, except for the few times they make you not like him, and then you really don't fucking like him.
I mean, if Oz is Dule Hill, all the more reason that Willow is President Bartlett.
No, but then Angel is Josh, because they both talk in the same right?
Ooh, who's Xander?
If he happens to still be on this, he's Toby.
He's Mary Marsh, or that lady who won't stand up for the president.
Oh my god. And when I speak, everybody stands up. That's how I beat her, Toby. I beat her with a 2x4.
Cortelia's Ainsley Hayes.
Yeah.
I met on the bossa nova. I think what's really funny about this is we did not even once think about Mandy. So the real thing that I want to... The real reason I loved these two. The thing about Buffy that we are asking ourselves as an idea, is Buffy about beating back vampires, or is it about being special? Oh, and who is Riley in the West Wing? Riley would have to be somebody who comes in later and leaves.
It's security lady Mary McCormick.
Okay.
I was gonna say Boynes.
I was gonna say what's his name? Mark Harmon. Right? Comes in real cute and then departs.
Oh yeah.
But But so my question became, is Buffy about fighting vampires, or is Buffy about a transitional time in someone's life when they're important? Is Buffy really even about being a royal? Could we equate Buffy's uniqueness to the presidency? Is it this special designation where perhaps the president is something you sought after, you fight for, you give everything to get, and being the vampire slayer is something that's kind of foisted upon you? I think from the moment she becomes the vampire slayer, Buffy truly would not stop being the slayer. Even when she tries to run away, that nagging need to come back forces her to run for re-election, and she comes back after Anne in the 3rd season, ready for her 2nd term. We even see her fight illness and troublesome health problems, like, perhaps relapsing, remitting MS or death. And, she still manages to come back. And the bigger picture for me is that for every Joey Lucas, there's a Jenny Calendar. This isn't a show where you are denied an ability to compare. I think, for me, the more interesting idea is, what if these adults took on fighting vampire monsters a little bit more than what if these children were in office? I think because what if these children were in office feels like a decom, and what if these old people were killing it feels like what if Max the channel brought back Cocoon as an action series.
So then what's your vote?
Left.
I think I'm going right.
Yeah.
Break that tie, Kevissimo.
No thoughts, just going right. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Nico in a similar vein to how I voted X-Men versus Grey's Anatomy, where I'm not sure I would get the same out of the West Wing staffed by the cast of Buffy, as I would be interested to see how the cast of the West Wing would adapt to demons and apocalypses and whatnot. I would love to see Buffy as the president, but I think it would end up like that Will and Grace joke. After all these years, limos are still really cool.
Well, I mean, that's only after she talks about her time in the POW camp. Oh, it's an interview with John McCain. You know what? I kind of feel like if you ask John McCain right up until the end, he would have said to you,
Limos are really cool.
Limos are really cool.
Yeah.
I think... Oh, are we? Oh, better say, are we taking it to the next step? Are we keeping going?
I was just doing my graphic
that's just the
thing.
last one.
You could have kept talking.
I never considered continuing.
No, we're not continuing. That's the end. We know our groups.
Are you sure? Because I kind of wonder the cast of.
Yeah, don't even try and explain it. Nope.
No, really. I think one of the coolest things about a project like this, an experiment like this, is that it allows us to think about what makes a show or a movie series. Is it made up of its traditional trope elements, or is it about the deeper picture? There is a really good lesson that I think too sometimes from a musical I really enjoy called Next to Normal. Next to Normal is a show about a woman who is dealing with pretty severe psychological trauma, and finally her doctors recommend that she get shock therapy, ECT, to help her reset her brain a bit. And it talks a lot about why that is literally torture, and it's not great. The original name of that show before it was Next to Normal is Feeling Electric. And they perhaps decided that the metaphor of her feeling so good about life was not worth the ugly metaphor. What they did was they examined that show and they said, what really makes this show magical is the idea that she is overcoming this thing that stops her from feeling like everybody else. It's that she beats what makes her feel next to normal. And they focused in on that. That's kind of what we had to do here. We talked about what makes Buffy. Is it the sci-fi elements or is it the characters? What makes West Wing? Is it about being in the White House or is it about this incredible group of people coming together to make the world better? I think we had some really fun discussions here, and it was one of our more like upbeat games. There was a little bit less this just doesn't work, which is never about us. It's a little bit more about the premise of the game doesn't always allow itself for every example. But I think here we really saw an interesting challenge to idea.
Are we not going to keep going? I thought we were duking everything out. I had everything ready.
Oh, he's ready. Okay.
I was ready.
I don't know that they can make sense after this.
No, it's just for fun. What do we want to see the most at this point? That's just what I thought we were doing. What do we feel is the winner?
Oh, do you want to see Star Wars Friends more or Glee Star Trek more? Star Wars.
Yeah, that's just what I thought we were doing.
Okay, yeah, Star Wars Friends for sure. Of these two, Star Wars Friends wins.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, no, nothing will ever beat Avatar The Last Golden Girl to me. So, Avatar!
For me, it's X-Men's Anatomy.
Oh, see, this is why I thought it'd be fun to play, because there you go. That's not tied, and I'm not sure, actually. I think... Oh, no, it is tough. I think I may ultimately go with Golden Avatar, but it is a tough one because I still really am attached to X-Men Grey's Anatomy. But I feel like X-Men Grey's Anatomy would just end up being a lot what we do see in the X-Men, whereas Avatar, old ladies bending, that would be something we haven't seen in the Avatar.
Truly never seen anything like it.
But old ladies, when you bend, please bend safely. Bend from your legs, not your back.
Make sure you're taking calcium supplements. Immediately Final Fantasy.
Immediately Final Fantasy. Frasier is a really cute cerebral project. It can go on Apple TV, but I want Final Fantasy VII Drag Race to be available on all your streaming platforms to maximize exposure.
And PS5.
Nah. Yeah, I'll get down on that.
Traitors, Devil.
Traitors. Yeah. You know, I enjoyed the discussion about Buffy, but Traitors.
It's an abomination. In this case, definitely I would do... Oh, sorry, we're not at it. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I was outvoted. You're just moving so fast for me. I apologize.
In this case, I would definitely do Atla Girls.
Atla Girls. That's right. Golden Avatar The Last Airbender Girls.
Sure.
You're not for Star Wars Friends?
I mean, I am. I'm already outvoted.
Why make him air his shame?
I guess, yeah.
Final Fantasy VII for me. I really am excited at the idea of Daredevil Traitors, but Final Fantasy VII, there's a little bit more like, I can get there's a traitor in Daredevil's world just about any time. But how often do you get a bunch of drag queens battling for post-apocalyptic supremacy?
You torn?
I'm a little torn.
You're singing along with your track, Nico?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Nelly Furtado's track. She's the real talent, you know?
What do you got, Kevin?
Well, yes, that is true. But if anyone is enjoying our background music on today's broadcast, as always, please make sure to check out Nico Action's SoundCloud, where you can see, I don't know if this is up there yet, but there's a lot of stuff. And it will be if it's not yet.
And in the next couple of days, there's going to be some killer RuPaul kind of like general drag queen, kind of like goddess killer track music. Definitely
Nice.
go check that out.
What was your vote on this again?
Oh, Final Fantasy VII all the way.
I'm gonna vote Daredevil Traitors because I don't know Final Fantasy as well, so that's something that I'm more familiar with.
Super fair.
I think ultimately it's Final Fantasy Drag Race.
Oh God, I wished you had said Traitors so the last one wouldn't be hard for me. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call this decision difficult for me, but you know, from the time I was about like 16 years old till the time I was like 20, there were only like 3 things I did after 10 p.m. and that was play Final Fantasy, watch Golden Girls, and play with me watching playing with myself. And that's it. And this is tough. It's actually not tough. I mean, obviously the winner for me is on the left. That is like my place of happiness. It's my place of safety. I'm going to give it to Avatar: The Last Airbender, Golden Girls. But the difficulty here is that I see such value in this idea of these incredible 14 unbelievable queens from different backgrounds with different perspectives, unusual aesthetics, incredibly daring art. I see such value in that playing out in something like a JRPG, which celebrates character, celebrates uniqueness, and celebrates the unique identity of art. And so I hate voting left in a way that means I don't get to vote right, but left is the vote for me. And I'm just glad I haven't had to make this choice too often in life.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I will happily vote for Final Fantasy VII Drag Race on your behalf.
I really appreciate it.
And then Kevo, you got to break that tie.
And I think we know how I'm going to break it, because I think we know how you would break it if our positions were reversed. The audience speaks for us as well.
Golden
the
Girl.
winner, it seems, is Golden Girls as Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar Studios, please take note that this is what audiences are looking for is the Golden Girls as element benders. So you heard it here first.
And it's something that I think is what's so funny about it, that it came down to this 4 categories: Avatar, Final Fantasy, Golden Girls, and Drag Race. It's 4 such similar but very different things. Avatar and Final Fantasy both clearly have a sense of, I love this confetti, both clearly have a sense of either JRPG or anime inspired, interests and design. And then with Drag Race and Golden Girls, these are 2 shows that were hallmarks of gay bars in the years. It's like literally when aforementioned, drywall's cool, partner and I go to gay bars in the city, they're usually playing Golden Girls. Like, it's just on. And so, it's exciting to get to talk about how so many of our interests kind of come back to the same base ideas. I can already see how I can't wait to play this game 30 more times. We're going to throw in Doctor Who. We're going to throw in Battlestar Galactica. We're going to throw in I almost said Monstrous, but I meant Monsterverse and
Dark Universe, anything that you can put in an Orlando theme park, anything that you can put in a Disney theme park,
a Nintendo theme park. And I'm just specifying a Nintendo theme park because I really hope that Universal does not hold those rights exclusively forever. So I really loved this, guys. How did you feel about our inaugural playthrough of FlipFlopping Fandom Fun, an interactive game?
I loved it, and I don't think I would have loved it nearly as much if not for the incredible graphics that Kevo had done to illustrate the amazing worlds we were envisioning. So thank you so much, Kevo.
You're very welcome.
And I want to give it up to our amazing, unbelievable crowd today. If it hadn't been for that audience weighing in, having those opinions, an interactive game is made so much better by having people to interact with. And Cyborg, Tasty Cake, your guys' involvement really elevated this to the next level. It made it feel like a really fun panel at a con and not just hanging out with a couple of people I talk to 24/7 anyway. So, what a great opportunity to get to enjoy everything that we love and really cover. Babylon 5 versus Metal Gear Solid. I love that. Bayonetta versus Chips. So,
thank you. Get out of here.
Eric Estrada in the Bayonetta
Potato
outfit.
chips.
So, We have a million more things to talk about in this vein. I can't wait to use this format again. But until then, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up. We have a regular TV broadcast tomorrow. We have comics this week. More stuff coming up Saturday. Oh, well, we got to talk a little bit because Saturday and Sunday are a little bit thrown off as myself and regular contributor Peak Jonah will be on a panel for occasional contributor Demanda Martini, drag queen extraordinaire. She is the holder of some unbelievable titles. Titles like, so where I know her from, she won the Miss Green Lantern competition, where she was the most unbelievable pageant drag queen, dressed as a Green Lantern. She was unbelievable, really incredible. She's got a number of other incredible accolades. You do not want to miss her. She's going to be at the Farpoint convention, where you can find some of the incredible people that we have talked about on this show, like our unbelievable queen, Tawny Newsome, who has done some unbelievable work on Star Trek Lower Decks and is a writer on the upcoming Star Trek show. We have Jay Lee from the Orville, who's going to be there, as well as Erin McDonald. And for all of you X-Men Taz fans, Cal Dodd. That's right, bub. It's going to be a great time. We are very excited to be there, and we're going to be there on Sunday doing a panel with none other than RuPaul's Drag Race's Dax exclamation point. It's going to be super fun, super great. Cannot wait to bring that to you guys. So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to see if we can either broadcast it or record it and bring it to you guys a little bit later. So just definitely keep an eye out on the channel for some exciting updates. Okay. Oh, no, there's more.
No, not more and more. In getting that image for Farpoint, I see now there is an image for Dax and Amanda that I want to flash real quick.
And if I can just be gross about it, I am sort of crazy into Demanda as a performer, and am incredibly proud to have arranged a couple of pieces for her over the years. And could not be more excited than to see her hosting this unbelievable drag show with incredible queens. And it's going to be an amazing time. Make sure to bring your singles, make sure to bring your fives, and tip like a madman. But until then, Kevo, as TK said before, dude, these graphics were out of this world. I hope people really think that these are possible things. I hope everybody thinks that these are horrible one-shots by you did an unbelievable job. And TK, what people don't know is, because you play a curmudgeon, so no one knows what a nice guy you are. No, there is no real separate. The tasty cake, you poked us in the fandom, and there is no real separation for Farscape versus SG1. It's one big happy spot for me and Kevo. But so what people don't know is TK, you are the most patient, understanding person in the world. And you show up Friday morning thinking you're about to record one thing, and you get to rehearse for something completely unrelated. And I just think that absolutely both of you made this episode an incredible knockout. And really, I'm so grateful to have been a part of this. And thank you both.
Good times.
All right.
Yeah.
Kevo, where can everybody find you until tomorrow's broadcast?
Until tomorrow's very special broadcast for a very special day for a very special team captain, you can find me over on the socials. You can find us at X's for Show, which is the banner I clicked first. But you can find me personally over at Kev O'Reilly. That's KEVOREALLY. Teak, where can the folks at home find you, sir?
And you can find me at TK Elemental. Nico, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me checking out all of my favorite shows and then talking about them here all the time. That's Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays here at X's for Show. You guys can also check me out on all of my social media links at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. Got a YouTube with music. I got a SoundCloud with music. I got comics out there. You can check out my GLAAD award-winning entry in an anthology, Young Men in Love. Really excited to still be a part of that. Don't forget to go check that out. Just really proud of the incredible body of work I've been able to amass, and that I've amassed with these guys, and that we're going to keep amassing. So keep an eye out for more announcements from us in the next couple of months. And until then, we got 3 things we want you to do. Right? That's like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys could do that, that would be great. We really want that. But we have 3 things we need you to do. That's number one. You guys got to stay safe. Number two, you got to be brave, right? It's a scary world out there, but if you're already staying safe, just keep venturing. And as you venture, evolve daily. Do those three things and you will be a happier person in the future. And, while you're at it, if you wouldn't mind the like, comment, and subscribe, it's a pretty good feeling. So until next time, when we figure out a way to get me to wear my Green Lantern hat without triggering the green screen effect, we will see you guys. Do 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 do.